Today marks 6 months since multiple devastating EF3 tornadoes ripped through Kansas, including the small community of Plevna in Reno County.
Since then, many families are still building back. And tonight, Cake's Jack Cooper has their stories in this Cake Special Report.
On May 18th, an outbreak of 9 tornadoes across the state leveled different communities. The longest, this one that lasted for about 41 minutes and ended in rural Reno County. Now, we're going to introduce you to 3 families, all of their houses on this line that follows part of the path of the tornado. The first one's going to be down here on South Langdon Road, and they saw wind speeds right around 145 miles per hour. Now, the other 2 houses, the first one is going to be here. This is out near the church on the west side of Plevna. The other one is going to be more up here on the northwest end of town.
Unfortunately, it's a story of having plenty of time and not using it wisely.
Oh my goodness. This is very strong indications of a very violent tornado at this point in time.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Danny, our house is gone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And the tree is gone.
That was me.
The house is gone, honey.
I know. From what I can tell, we're the hardest
Our
house hit.
beautiful home is gone.
It's all gone.
May 18th, 2025 is a day that these Plevna families in Reno County are going to remember for the rest of their lives.
When I got up that morning and daylight hit, I thought, we'll be the rest of our lives cleaning this up, and we'll probably not get done. It was horrific.
About 30 seconds later, he came back downstairs and said, it's all gone. He couldn't see anything other than rubble for our house. He couldn't see anything.
Richard and Leona Henderson.
It just moved everything, man. We had trees this big around out there, like that big one there, laid them over.
And there was glass, and it went clear through the house.
A few miles southwest was Mandy Seekert's home.
That night was pretty, I don't know, numbing, I guess. I don't remember a whole lot of it other than just the realization that everything that we've worked for was now gone.
And Pastor David Green.
But then when we went to go up the stairs, we're looking at stars. So, it was like everything was gone.
These are just some of the people in this town of 85 who lost everything. The Greens and Seekerts rebuilding from scratch.
We ended up having to trash about 90% of it just because there was so much debris and insulation and that kind of thing. But we at least salvaged some of the really important things.
The Henderson's house still standing.
If we hadn't had them trees, we'd have had nothing left.
But now it needs thousands of dollars of repairs. The roof looks great. How much?
Yeah, it ought to.
Yeah.
$16,050.
These are their stories of that night as they continue to rebuild.
My husband was watching the reports. He said it's headed for us.
And it's about to roll over Plevna. So you got to be down in your shelters.
I said, I'm going to bed.
This house on the west side of Plevna has been the home for Leona Henderson and her husband Richard for years now. The couple had home insurance, but say after they were told it would double in price, they decided they didn't need it anymore, just 3 weeks before the EF3 tornado swept through the town.
Took this window out, filled my cupboards with, I call it tornado dirt.
dishes out of the cabinets and everything.
It was all over the floor.
And now?
We need our foundation repaired, $45,000. So I just pray about it because I don't know how that's going to happen.
The roof, the foundation, guttering, siding, soffit, they're looking at roughly $80,000 worth of repairs.
Well, we talked to contractors, but the ones that are dependable and of value were too busy. They couldn't get here till maybe next year.
And all this while being on a fixed income of only $1,100 a month.
We've got a lot to do, and my energy is dwindling. And that's all I can tell you.
We kind of live check from check.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Move somewhere? You can't do it. You sell it? Who's going to buy it?
And while their house is still standing, their barn now looks like this.
It was a pretty good sized barn, you can see.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of stuff in there.
But even with thousands of dollars of repairs staring them in the face and their barn destroyed, Richard says it could have been a whole lot worse.
We'll survive it, Can whine all we want, but then you go down and look at somebody else's house,
Someone else's house, like Pastor Dave Green and his family, who lived in the parsonage, the house owned by the church for a pastor in small towns. The tornado destroyed it that night.
then we could hear noise of it coming. I was praying over my family that God would protect us because it was kind of getting scary.
Green, his wife, and his kids all huddled together in the basement as the storm went right over their heads.
Then I got smacked in the face with a piece of insulation. The only place I knew that could come from was the roof.
That's even something his wife videotaped when they went up to check out the damage.
We were just left the basement. Oh, that's insulation in our basement. This is our stairs. After the tornado, we have no roof.
Green says if you ever have to take cover, make sure to remember your shoes.
It's always in the middle of the night. You're getting up out of bed, but when you get up, everything's going to be covered in broken glass.
Just steps away from where the parsonage was leveled, the church stood strong with just a little bit of roof damage. Thankfully, near the worst of the storm, a quarter of the town's population rode it out right here in the basement.
They were right down here. Some of them would have been in that middle area, but some of them were, the kids were playing and stuff like that. And so some of them were out in this area.
A building that stood since the 1800s, once again protecting the very people who come to it in their times of need. The parsonage, on the other hand, finally has walls and a roof, and Green says hopefully by the beginning of next year, he and his family can finally come home.
Electrical, HVAC, plumbing are all pretty much done. So yeah, it's moving along, which is great.
Another family hoping to get home soon, the Seacards. You may remember the day after the tornado, we actually talked to them on what Mom Mandy called the worst day of her life.
That night, it's still pretty surreal.
Mandy, her husband, her twin 4-year-old boys, their 2 dogs, and all 3 cats were huddled together right here in this now empty basement.
We stuck our kids underneath an oak table that we had, and my husband and I were on each side of them, and our dogs came and sat with us and just kind of rode it out.
The family lives a couple miles southwest of Plevna and was one of the first and worst homes hit. Seacard says the storm hit them at 11:58, the exact time this was on our broadcast.
So here's what's moving towards Plevna right now. Large, damaging wedge tornado.
But how do you explain that to your kids who might not understand what's happening?
They kind of started to wake up, and we just said, there's a bad storm that's coming. We don't know what's going to happen, but just to keep you guys safe, we're going to move you in here. And then when it looked like we were going to be pretty much in the middle of it, that's when we moved them into the table, and we said, we're just doing this so that you stay safe.
And luckily for them, they were right. After the storm passed, there wasn't a scratch on any of them. Now the family is out in Partridge as they wait for their home to be rebuilt.
It was really hard when we first would start coming out here, just because you still see so much of the rubble and stuff.
Even with the concrete poured and progress being made, Seacard still vividly remembers that night.
As you come down these steps, this was our bedroom area. And so this is where my kids were sleeping, and we woke them up right before the tornado hit. And we were watching the weather. We had our TV right about here. And then we had a chimney right here, fireplace that went up through the roof. But the fireplace itself was right here. And so as the tornado got closer, we went back behind where the fireplace was. We had a solid oak table, and that's where we went. So fortunately, when the tornado hit, the chimney went towards the west. But yeah, we were right here underneath that oak table.
And in the future, she's taking no chances.
With the build, we've added in this safe room. So as you can see, it's 4 concrete walls and a concrete ceiling. So no matter what, we'll be safe if anything like this happens again.
As for construction,
we're in the process of building. We should start framing next week, and hopefully by mid-December we'll have a roof on, and then by next spring we'll be home.
But every day is a reminder of what was lost, things they'll never get back or need to replace.
Even as Christmas approaches, it's like, oh, all of our Christmas lights were gone and that kind of thing. So it's just the little reminders every day of things that we have to replace.
The United Way of Reno County says they're still working to help every family impacted by the tornado. If there's any way that you can help or maybe donate, we have a link up on our website along with this story called Rebuilding and Resilience. It's all up at cake.com. In studio, Jack Cooper, Cake News on your side.